YouTube. So this day I'm coming on here to talk about endometriosis. I have a few videos that I've already talked about endometriosis, but today I'm going to talk about it a little more because a lot of women don't even know they have it. It's not a common test for it. And a lot of us, we grow up thinking that pain is a regular part of having your monthly periods, right? Well, you don't have to, but hold on, y'all. I gotta get myself together. So, before we get started, make sure you thumbs up this video and subscribe to the video if you haven't already, or subscribe to the page if you haven't already. Okay, so I'm Jenna. For everybody who might be new watching me, I'm Jenna. And what do I do mainly on this channel? I talk about health, I talk about food, I cook, and I just do little things like that to encourage people to start doing their research on how to deal with things naturally. I also do holistic counseling, so make sure you check out the the description below during the video. You can't do it during the video, can you? Yeah, see, I'm so Facebook live. I have to get used to this YouTube thing. But yeah, check out the description if you want more information. I'm just gonna go ahead and just skate across some things today, but if you want something more in depth, please email me. My information for me to help you is as little as $15. Also, you can donate to this channel as well by everything's in the description, so check it out. Also, when we go live, you can also super chat us, and that would be great. We'll be grateful for that as well. Okay, so yeah, endometriosis. Okay, let me give you my definition of it. Endometriosis is the lining of your uterus growing outside of your uterus. Okay, so it grows in your fallopian tubes, it grows in your abdomen, it just grows out of your uterus, and it thickens, and it's painful, and it causes issues with your hormones. It's awful. And I just realized that I've probably had endometriosis my whole menstrual life. Like, since I've been menstruating. I started menstruating at 10 years old, which is very, very early. I would not suggest, if you can, tell your girls to not, get overweight and stop the sugar and the salt. If you can get them, before they hit puberty, please do that, because for some reason, and this was, 20-some years ago, when food was still fresh and food was still not mass produced, and now that it's 20 whatever now, it's ridiculous how everything is just processed, and it's unhealthy, and our air is unhealthy, and we use a lot of plastics, and we're stressed out, and we're not exercising anymore, and we're not eating healthy, and we're not meditating. A lot of us women, brown women, we don't meditate. we don't. And it's something that I didn't know about. And my husband, he taught me about it, and I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna do stuff like that, but it does help. And I talk about meditation, and he has a few videos on meditation as well. Sorry, y'all, I love doing my hair while I go live as well. But yeah, so when I was 10, when I first started coming on my period would come on 1 month and skip 1 month. Come on 1 month and skip 1 month. Then I hit 13 and 14, and the weight started coming on, and I started to realize I was cramping. And then when I was in high school, my cramps became really, really, really bad. Excuse me. Somebody else is live now.
Oh, wow.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like we're competing.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Because I want to watch her.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm doing something now, she's going live. I don't get it. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's rude of me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, when I was, 14, hey, when I was 14 or 15 years old, I realized I was starting getting, pains and clotting, and I would get these weird cravings. I would eat a lot of chocolate and sugar. I would put on up to 10 pounds of water weight every month. Oh my gosh. And I just was thinking about this a few days ago because I was like, wow, I've had endometriosis for a long time. I just realized I had it though last year. And as soon as I started changing my diet, now mind you, hi everyone, y'all. I see you guys. I see you. Thank you so much for joining us. But yeah. So yeah, I started realizing last year that I had endometriosis. 4 and 5 days before my cycle come on, I would be bent over cramping. It would cramp, and sometimes I wouldn't even shed. It was just horrible. And then, I just realized, like, wow, I have endometriosis. And what were the signs of the endometriosis? Pain. Pain is the #1 sign of endometriosis. Number 2, of course, is heavy bleeding. I started heavy bleeding after I was 35. Like last year, I just started to have heavy bleeding where I had to just start wearing the pads that was this big. It was horrible, and I was like, what's going on, and I just ignored it. And then I was like, you know what, something's not right. So I started doing research, and I started looking up things, and endometriosis has always been in the back end of my research and what I know and things like that. I never thought I had it. Well, I do. Pain, heavy periods, spotting in between periods. A lot of women, unfortunately, you do not find out until maybe you want to start having children. And unfortunately, sometimes that's in your late 30s, early 40s, and you're like at the end of your childbearing years, So that's why I said, you know what, I want to make videos and encourage women who are much younger than me and their teens and their 20s before you hit 30, that if you're having a lot of cramping going on and you're having heavy periods, you might want to go get that check out with your doctor to see if you have endometriosis. And the way that they test you is they just give you like an ultrasound. They give you, different tests to see how your lining is doing. They give you, they look at your ovaries and look at your fallopian tubes and things like that. Because after a while, the lesions or the adhesions, the things that keeps building in your reproductive organs, start to scar your tissue, and then you're not able to get pregnant. Sometimes the egg is blocked in your fallopian tube, so you can't get in there. So a lot of people who may get pregnant, you may experience ectopic pregnancies where the the egg gets fertilized in the fallopian tubes, but it's not able to travel down to attach to your uterus. So you get, unfortunately, you get ectopic pregnancies, or you may suffer from a lot of miscarriages, because some women with endometriosis can get pregnant. They just cannot hold a pregnancy. You know what I mean? And some people just can't get pregnant altogether. So no matter what stage, and there's 4 stages to endometriosis, and sometimes you may fluctuate. You may be stage 1 sometimes you may be stage 4. It just depends, So what I encourage you guys to do, of course, is once you realize that you may have endometriosis or you get that diagnosis of endometriosis, do your research. Don't be so quick for someone to tell you that you have to have a hysterectomy or you have to have a laparoscopy, which is them scraping your uterus and scraping your fertile parts or your reproductive parts, because sometimes women get to the point where those treatments can actually make things worse. So the first thing you want to do is you want to change your way of life. I don't want to say diet, because some people just feel like, oh, diet is going to cure it. It's not. Diet is not just going to cure it. It's a whole situation that you have to do to get better. It's not a joke. It is not something that is impossible, but it is not easy as well. And so my husband, he is my witness as to all the things that I've done and all the things that I do. I've got my sugar, my glucose down. Over 15 years, of course, I've been working on getting my glucose levels lower, because during my period it used to be 300. Like, I used to get very, very high numbers on the glucose monitor. I don't get that anymore. I get like 130, 140, which for me is great, because I used to get 200 and 300. I used to put on so much weight. My mood was horrible. I would go into like, be manic almost. I would be happy one minute and not the next, and crying endometriosis it's like, it ruins your mind, body, and your spirit. It's just something that's not good to have. And it's not something that you can help. Sometimes, most of the time, it's hereditary. It's from your mother, it's from your grandmother, it's from your, it's something that we as women sometimes can't block. And it doesn't matter your weight. You can be overweight and have endometriosis. You can also be a regular woman that's not overweight and have endometriosis. Now, mind you, if you are overweight, it does help endometriosis get worse, or it helps it to not get better. And it's very hard to lose weight. And lose weight is relative. It's not saying that you have to be, you're 200 pounds, you have to go all the way down to 130. No, just 10 or 15 pounds of just losing that will help you go from one stage to a lower stage. And there is necessarily no cure. So you'll never get rid of endometriosis out of your DNA. But what you can do is you can help your body deal with it in a way where you're not getting symptoms. Right?
Exactly.
My husband is right here supporting me. So I take several herbs. I do several techniques to help me deal with endometriosis. I keep logs of my periods. I give myself grades every month of how my period is that month. If it's a lot of clots, if it's heavy, if it's crampy, if it's lagging. Lagging means you're brown spotting right before you are doing a full flow. That is negative, that's bad. Also, look at the color of what you are releasing out of your body. Look at the color, look at the consistency, look at the amount of pads you go through an hour. All of that will help you gather whether you have endometriosis or not. You should not really be going through more than maybe 3 pads every few hours. Some women go through 8 and 9 pads an hour. They have to take off work. They can't do anything. I've been there before. It is not fun to have to wear special clothes and not be able to go out at all because your period is just so heavy. Also, you'll go into iron deficiencies and different deficiencies in your vitamins because you're losing so many vitamins while you're bleeding. It's just ridiculous. You'll feel weak. You'll feel nauseous. You'll feel where your taste buds are off, so the food doesn't taste right. It's awful. It really is. So if you're going through this, there are ways that you can help your body to not go through those horrible symptoms while you're on. Now, the way you do it, of course, is you have to start, like if you're watching this and you're either, when basically you're about to go off of your period, it's the best time to start doing what I do to help me get through this, which is water retention. Nobody likes that water weight, the sore breasts, the 5-10 more pounds that you put on of just water weight. There are ways that you can get rid of water weight or lower your water weight. Okay, so if you want to get more information on this, please make sure you email me at aholisticme@gmail.com. And the things that I know I've been doing for over 10 plus years anyway, before I even knew I had endometriosis, these things that I've been doing, I just had to pump it up when I found out I had endometriosis. And really, to be honest, after 35 years old, that's when the symptoms started to really rev up because, mind you, I've gone years without meat, years without dairy, years without sugar. I've already done these drastic things before. I've been doing it for years. Then I kind of laid back on it last year because I thought, oh, I'm fine, I'm cured, nothing's happening. And then as soon as I started incorporating meat back in my diet, incorporating dairy back in my diet, incorporating more sugar, that's when the symptoms came up. So that's the difference between holistic and maybe taking a medicines or getting a surgery. I mean, at the end of the day, you want your body to repair and heal. You don't want to mask symptoms. That's what medicines do. That's what surgery does. Surgery, a lot of doctors, unfortunately, will say you will have to have a hysterectomy. You don't necessarily have to have a hysterectomy if you start doing the research and getting help with your endometriosis. You have to start getting help. So you don't have to have that last resort of getting a surgery or techniques or things like that that will basically cause you to your symptoms to worsen or become more permanent, or it's just that simple. So if you want more information, I know it was kind of vague on this, I didn't give you anything, I understand. Please just email me if you want more information on how to deal with endometriosis. It's not easy. It is not something that you're necessarily gonna solve in one day, because guess what, endometriosis doesn't grow in one day. Mind you, I said that I've had endometriosis more than likely since I was menstruating since 10 years old. This is something I've had over 20 years. And I'm actually blessed that it didn't get too bad. And the reason why it didn't get as bad as I could have had it is because I changed my diet over 10 years ago. I stopped beef. Beef, unfortunately, is not good for endometriosis, red meat at all. You should not be eating red meat if you have endometriosis. You should not be eating dairy. Dairy is a no-no when you have endometriosis because it's all about the hormones. Estrogen. Estrogen is the major hormone that feeds your uterus to overgrow tissue. And you don't want that. So you have to basically incorporate different types of dietary techniques. Like, you may have to be vegan sometimes. You might have to be vegetarian. You might have to be a pescatarian. You might have to be a person who eats more vegetables than the average person. You'll start getting things like constipation after a while too, which is going to basically feed the issue of endometriosis. Endometriosis is also inflammation. Inflammation is not good. It's painful. It basically is not allowing your body to do what it needs to do, which is to cleanse itself and to detoxify. So basically, it's a science to doing this naturally. I don't believe in necessarily having to take medications or losing my girly parts because of endometriosis. We can overcome endometriosis. It's not saying that you'll never have a child. It's not saying you're not going to be able to lose weight. It's not saying that you're going to have to be in grueling pain forever. No, you do not have to do that. If you do, another thing, exercise. Exercise is very, very important when you have endometriosis. And it's the type of exercise that you need to do. It's not just exercising, profusely and sweating and things. Because remember, endometriosis is basically saying that your body is not operating well. And stress helps things inflame. Case in point, have you ever had like a real stressful situation and then all of a sudden you go to the bathroom and boom, you're spotting? It happens. It's happened to me several times, and it basically clued me in that something's wrong. And I keep mental diaries of instances when I spot. And a lot of times when I spot in between periods, it's after a very hard day. It's after my blood pressure is high. It's after I may have eaten something that was not right, and then all of a sudden your body shows you signs that don't do this. So yeah, you have to basically be very diligent and darn near radical to deal with endometriosis, whether you do it naturally or whether you don't. Either way, even with medicines that you may have to take, you still have to change your way of life so you do not make your body worse. So yeah, I hope this video encourages encourages you to do better with your life and do better with your issue with endometriosis. 9 times out of 10, if you're watching this video, you probably do have endometriosis. And you go to your doctor and you talk to them, but also do your own research and do your own information. And I'm here to give you more information to help you through endometriosis. It can be done. Thank you for watching.
All right, guys. See you guys next time.